whatever we can do to the society. That's what we are trying. Like we are just trying to share the knowledge what we have. Okay, and I think it's like almost 5 o'clock. Amit, you can quickly introduce yourself and then you can start the session. Go ahead, Amit.
Okay, Sudeep. Yes, thank you.
And over mic
Thank you, Sukesh.
to
Hope I'm audible, right?
Amit. You are audible.
For so where I got the knowledge, all the things, what is design pattern, how we are implemented. So if you are subscribed for the Quest Point, yes, you can. So if you're not subscribed for the Quest Point, please subscribe to Quest Point. We'll able to. So you can subscribe here, Quest Point, and you will get all the knowledge of what is how the design pattern, how we are able to implement and all. And Sukesh, thank you so much. And we'll start the session. So on in architecture. So today's agenda. So what is the difference between design pattern, architecture style, and we'll see what is the traditional way of doing the coding. Actually, that is what the database has centric, and that is what we call as a database centric architecture. And so we are moving to the DDD, that is a domain driven development design. That is what we also call as a domain centric architecture, and we'll see the detail of what is an onion architecture. And to implement an onion architecture, we need some of the design patterns and IOC. So we'll see what is an IOC and DI. And we'll see with two examples demo. One is a simple demo of a project for only for the knowledge purpose, and we'll implement the real-time project. Okay, so if you want to start your application for the freelancing, or if you want to start your application for your company, any projects, so we'll see how we can implement within a fraction of minutes, fraction of seconds. Okay, and also by end of this session, so we'll be covering some of the interview questions also. What is the design pattern and how we are going to implement what are the design pattern you are used in your project. And like these are the few questions will be asked in the interview, right? So can you explain a few of the examples how you implemented design patterns, and what is the difference between design pattern and architecture patterns? And some of the companies, they will tell you, okay, do the projects. Live project or like some CRUD operations, or they'll give some scenario and you have to implement within 2-3 hours only. So instead of thinking and all, so these are like I am giving a ready-made of project. Okay, so you can implement and you can directly take use of that. You can think only on the business part. So technically, technical project and technical stuffs, I'm going to provide with the GitHub link, and you can download and you can concentrate on the scenarios and you can implement that. And how we can do the documentation of best practices and code quality and all, we can go through this session. The first, so what is an onion architecture? Where is it? So if you have any questions in between, so you can ask me. Okay. The main onion architecture, which is implemented by the Jeffrey Valerio in somewhere in the 2008, and here told that, okay, so instead of having the layer architecture, so we can keep it in the instead of having a database in the middle, and we can have something layer kind of architecture. So as he keep on improving it, so during the 2015, so it became around well stabilized and organized architecture where we can implement, and it has been implemented worldwide. And so later, and this is not the latest one. The latest one is the clean architecture, that is by the Uncle Bob. That also we can have in the future. We can see the session. And this all the architecture is mainly depend upon the architecture pattern. So before coming to the this one, next 2 points, we'll discuss what is the difference between design pattern and architecture pattern. Can anyone tell me actually? So you can use the chat or you can have a speaker on that. So let this have interaction session rather than having a direct one-to-one, like one-to-many. So we can have interaction. So can anyone tell me what is the difference? Any idea? So the difference between design pattern and architecture pattern. Any idea? Anyone? Okay, what is design pattern? Hope you all know about design pattern. So design pattern like factory design pattern or repository design pattern or CQRS and these are the stuffs. So
design pattern is something like that we can invoke inside the project, like
inside the project.
Yes, an architect
Okay.
product we can see like different projects we will accumulate into the single solution. That is the architecture pattern.
True. Yes. Thank you. And Rahul also said about design pattern is a small section of the project. Yes, true. So I will tell in the simple words the difference between design pattern, architecture pattern, and architecture style. So while creating an application, the 3 things will be always remember. Like we have to keep in mind. So what you want, how you implement, and how you solve the problem, right? So there is 3 things we had to keep in the mind. Okay, what you want means, like for example, we want something kind of principles, REST principles. Okay, we want some CRUD operations. Okay, we have to have a get, put, post, and delete. So principles, RESTful services. What you want, how you going to implement that in your project? So for this one, you can implement via architecture pattern. This is what I can say. First one is architecture style and what you want. How you implement. So how you implement, you can say architecture pattern, that is MVC, MVVM, MEP, or also it called as onion architecture or clean architecture, hexagonal architecture. So a lot of stuff. And how you solve the problem, that's come to the design pattern. So here is the diagram actually. The principle, so what architecture style says that what you want, the principles. So like where RESTful services where we are going to implement, and architecture pattern is what it is MVC, MEVM, this all we are implemented, but this onion also will be comes under the architecture pattern itself. This is nothing but a block level. And how are you going to implement that in your project? And next is a design pattern. Yeah, this all you all aware of that. So like factory design pattern or repository design pattern and lot of stuff where you solve the problem. Okay, so this is what the problem is coming, like connect to the data provider. So I'm using kind of a repository design pattern. Now in case of creating a object, yes, I'm using a factory design pattern. So this all comes to the picture. This comes in the code level. For this one, I written, yes, DP talks how to implement exactly, Siddesh. And architecture patterns talk about how the difference component. Yes, exactly. That's what I was telling. So, yeah, architecture pattern, how you implement that? Okay, block diagrams. Okay, so like MVC, model view controller, or model view model. So this of the stuffs actually, and where are the will impact the entire project? Exactly, Rahul. That's true. Okay, yeah. Now, what is onion architecture comes in the this layer actually. This is comes in the architectural pattern, where architecture pattern, and also it is a is composed by a domain-centric architecture. What is domain-centric architecture? We'll see what is domain-centric architecture. Now we have 2 kind of architecture in our the main 2 architecture. Okay, so one is a data-centric architecture, and another is a domain-centric architecture. Data-centric architecture, what we used to do in the before coding, like around 3 to 4 years back or 5 years back, before coming to the MVC, before working on MVC and all. we used to work on the database in the center, data access layer, and business logic, and then UI, something this kind of thing, right? But after that, what we are doing, like the Dapper, we are using a Dapper or Entity Framework Core or something like Hibernate. So what we do, so we keep the domain in the center, and database, through that actually we are connected to the database. So our application will be here, and we can connect to the database. Tomorrow, we are using SQL Server. Currently, imagine we are using SQL Server, and Postgre has came up. So for the cost cutting for the company and all. So if database centric architecture is very difficult for us to switch to the database and all, right? So in this kind of scenario, so domain centric architecture will help us a lot of things. So what are the database it may be? It may be Postgre, it may be Oracle, it may be SQL Server, whatever it may be. We can easily switch to the database, and and also second thing, maintenance is very easy in the domain centric architecture. So this is what Martin Flohr has said about DDD very nicely. So you can go through that, the URL and everything I'll be sharing to the later to you in the chat or in the group. Any question on the database and domain centric architecture? Any questions on database centric and domain architecture?
Hello.
Yes, yes, Shuhas.
Yes. So my question is like, can you just share some domain knowledge, so that actually I'm just new for the onion architecture, so I'm just asking
I'll come to that part.
about
I'll come to that part. Yeah.
Sure.
Just I'll take on 50. I had divided this course into 50 minutes, 4 parts. So first 10 minutes I'll be seeing what is theoretical of what is onion architecture. Then we'll see a simple demo in the project, and later we'll see a real-time project how we're going to implement. So just divided into 3 parts. So we'll go with 10 minutes like.
Sure.
Yeah, yes. So any questions on what is the difference on, just want to know, like before coming to the onion architecture, so first we'll see what is the database, and so like if you have any questions, then we can sort it out. How does this differ from the framework? Rahul, yes. This is like where we can see implement like domain in the center. Actually, I will show that this one like MEC, yes, like MEC framework. Yeah, I will show in the code wise. I think that will be more helpful for me. In the next this I'll tell you.
What is the domain in this layer?
Yeah, I'll come to the point. Domain is nothing but classes, entities.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come to the part. Okay, then I think, yeah, so we can go to the next level. Just I'll come to the based on IOC. IOC, the inversion of control. So this also we'll see in example wise. And inversion of control is a principle, and how we can implement that we can based on the dependency injection. So these are 3 things based on this only onion architecture has been built. We'll go to this diagram actually. This will compare with diagram and with our code. So first I will talk about what is domain. So domain is our look into that. Yes, thanks, Sukesh. Yes, Sai. Yeah, we'll see that how we can using the EF core. How we can switch the database. We'll see that. I will show that with a demo actually. Okay, this is a diagram. We'll see domain. So domain in the center. So what is a domain in the center? I'm created a. This is my layered. So first, what is a domain? Domain is all our entities. This is all our entities. Now we have a customer and order. This all the tables. This all the classes file actually, whatever entities you can say, and customer, order details, supplier. So to implement this, I'll open SQL Server also. Entity framework and okay. Let me open my database. It's taking some few seconds. Okay, this is my table. This is my database. Now, this all the to implement this all the database like customer or this table, I'm using a simple. First, I use the entities in my class domain layer. Using this domain, like for example, category, customer, order details, supplier, product, and supplier. And through this one, I'm using a top of this. I'm using a persistence layer. So this persistence layer, this is what we call as a we are implementing entity framework core here. It may be entity framework core, it may be a Dapper, NABNet, whatever it may be. So provider. So through this provider, I'm going to build this database. So this through this I'm going to arrange table. Yes, see, this is what exactly it comes like a one-to-many relationship. This all the database diagram, right? This all the table. First, what I did, I created all the classes file here: customer, category, order details, and after that, I created a persistence layer, which calls the datasets layer. And in the datasets layer, I'm using a repository design pattern. So this is what the customer repository. And sorry for that. Data. In the data layer, so this is a diagram what is called actually. So order details. So this is one-to-many relation, and this many-to-many relation which is having an order detail. After creating a class, we are calling the data layer. In the data layer, I'm using a framework packages called as the entity framework core. So the question someone asked me how we implement changes in the switch to the database without. Okay, for this question only, if you're using SQL Server or if you're using Oracle provider or if you're using it may be a Postgre, for this one and all, we can change the library into .SQL instead of .SQL Server. You can directly change into a Oracle provider or Postgre provider. So based on that one, directly it will get connected with the that database. Hope Sai, you got the answer for that. And this everything will be implemented with the my customer context file. So for this one, we should know what is the entity framework core. Okay, so if you're on entity framework, or it may be I had implemented the entity framework, but if you're not aware of entity framework also, or Dapper, whatever it may be, you can make use of that. So by using this one, just I'm connected to the database. The connection string will be in my main class, presentation class. Then because of why in my presentation layer is because of I'm putting all my connection string here. So what is the SQL Server, right? The provider, I'm using the SQL provider here. And in my startup class, debug context. In my infrastructure layer, I'm using a SQL Server here. So if you want to switch between a SQL Server or if you want to go to the Oracle, just change the provider to instead of use SQL Server, you can use Postgre server, and that's done actually. So the it will create a migration table here, and thus automatically the table will be created for your end. What is the role of persistence layer? Can you explain? Yes. Yes, this one. After coming to the domain, I add one more layer in this. This only for theoretical purpose only, like for the demo. I'll show the real project later part. So after this domain, so next comes in the persist layer, but only for to understanding purpose only. I use one more layer as a data layer. This will be removed in the next demo session. And in the persistence layer, where we are implementing a repository design pattern. In persistence layer, so this is what exactly will call to our database. So now what is a repository design pattern is like, it is making a suppression to the our data access layer and our code. What is data access layer? Data access layer, everything I written in this provider, right? This entity framework, this is what it connect to the database. So this one is a this I'm making a suppression of data access layer and our this service layer. The persistence layer, this one, it makes a suppression of it makes our the domain, the data which is there in the in between, and the service is a suppression of concern. It will make a suppression. So using a generic repository pattern. If you're talking about a repository pattern, so we have two types of repository pattern. One is a generic repository pattern and another is a non-generic repository pattern. So I had implemented both the things for this is only for understanding purpose only, where the generally it is have a generic repository pattern where the interfaces will be having all the whatever the basic required get with the get ID, add, update, and delete and save changes. And this one, so generic this making a generic adding entities and all. I'm calling that the data access just what do you say, the customer context. So what is customer context is our data set, data DB context. So I was talking about, right, in the previous slide. So online architecture having three things. One is based on the three things. One is architecture pattern, and it is composite domain centric architecture where a domain is kept in the center. Domain is nothing but entities, a class file, whatever it may be, and it is based on the IOC, inversion control. So here to implement a domain, so I'm injecting that customer context in my generic repository pattern, and I'm making that call to the from service I'm going to call to the generic pattern, generic repository. I hope Dheeraj you're able to come to know what is the persistence. Persistence is the pattern. So I'm using a repository pattern in the persistence layer. And after that, after above that, the persist layer, so service layer will be there. In service layer, so where you are writing all the business logic to it. This is all the business logic. So where we want to implement that, like for example, if you want to add, if you want, this is a simple call actually. That's nothing. We'll see the more complex in the next project. By calling this one, just I'm injecting that repository pattern in my customer services. Through that, I'm going to call the customer add to the data context here. And in case for deleting purpose, it's deleting, and save changes. So save changes is nothing but where we can commit the things. On top of that layer, again we are called as the infrastructure layer. So infrastructure layer says that where infrastructure layer. So here, if you want to implement like Swagger, or if you want to implement AutoMapper or authentication or logger file, whatever it may be, so that third-party DLL, everything will be kept in the infrastructure layer. And this configuration will be done in the we have taken the extension method, all configuration, everything. This is nothing but you can say the dump, like all third parties related stuffs or configuration related stuffs, everything taken care of in the infrastructure layer. And by this one, so then later we can call as a, and after that service layer, so will be called as a infrastructure layer, and we can call the presentation layer also. So what is the presentation? In my I'm showing the demo is the API here. So through the API, I'm calling services, then I'm calling the API, or it may be if you want to call, if you want to implement a Blazor or Razor something UI also, you can directly make use of that. Directly we can call to the services and we can make sure that. And this is my last layer. So this customer services, through this customer services, again this is DI. So this is for a revision purpose, you can, the DI, IOC. IOC is a principle where we are implemented DI dependent injection to that. How we are going to implement? So in case this is my imagine this is my presentation layer, and if you want to call this customer here, and every to make it generic way based on the service, like if you want to have a SQL server or if you want to have Oracle services, what I'm doing, we can inject that IDAL. So we are creating a separate of the interface here, and through this interface adding this the object and passing that, but I'm going to call that particular add method. So based on the services. Now in my UI layer presentation, so we can switch, like in case if you want to have SQL server, directly we can have the SQL server and that object will pass to the my customer object as a submit. Now in case if you want to switch to the SQL server with Oracle or something other services, just change the services here and your job will be done. This Onion architecture also built on the same on top of this IOC only. So this is some of the URL which is I'm sharing that URL here in the link in the later part, which is initially what Matin4 has given what is injection, dependent injection, and what is IOC. And Shiv sir already had explained very nicely about what is the difference between IOC and DI. So this diagram, so it will be very easy to understand that. So IOC is a principle, and where we can implement IOC through the multiple ways. One is by event, one is by delegates, one is by DI. Again, for the DI is method dependent injection. Again by DI, so we can have again multiple ways. One is method injection, property injection, and constructor injection. In my code or in Onion architecture, it says that we have to implement one layer to the another layer, like from the Onion to the I'm talking from presentation to the service layer, or service to the persistence layer, or persistence to the domain. This all we can make use of this inversion of control based, so that everything will be a separation of concern. So there'll be no separation of concern, and we'll have a benefit of having a easy decouple, and the benefit of writing the test cases and a lot of stuff will be make use of that. This is article which I written yesterday only. So the benefit of that, what is the testability and database independence, what are we can switch, what are the database, and also like business logic also we can write all the business logic in the service layer, and we can have well organized for better understanding. Initially you might feel that okay, this is more complicated, but it is such a that okay, now if you want to write a business logic layer, okay, directly you can in case if you want to write a business logic directly, you can direct in the service layer. Now if anything issue comes in the connectivity issues, something that can directly you can look into the persistence layer. Domain. Now tomorrow if any requirement comes to the picture, okay, now the business says that okay, now you have to implement something extra product to your project requirement, then nothing worry to change in lot of places, just we have to change in the domain layer, and just based on the again business layer, if a requirement, what are the requirements, slightly here and there, validation and all. So the things is done actually. And tomorrow, if they want to implement, okay, I want email feature to my application of email config in maintenance project, like if you have any problem with the services, email services, no problem. You can directly come to the infrastructure layer and third party, and you can make a use of that. Now, in case if you want to migrate to the latest one, so not necessary of touching all this code directly, you can come and infrastructure layer will be one place where you can make changes in the infrastructure layer. And presentation is only the UI. Just call to the service and just the work is done. That's it. So any question till here? So I'll repeat once again. So domain and so domain is nothing but entities where all the classes file will be available. And to implement, we can implement in both the way also. We can implement in the based on the your scenarios. If the database is already available, now you can yeah. So one more question you can ask we have already database and we have to implement the database in our application. We have to make this all entities. Is that possible? Yes, that's possible. This is a feature in the entity framework core that is available. That yes, here is a code where you can just copy paste based on which layer. I'll tell you where we can do that also later part. In which layer, the persistence layer, just make sure that what your project name dot persistence layer, and in your console file, in package console file, change this one to persistence layer and copy that scaffolding, and this all entities will be ready for you. This is a feature of the entity framework core. So it's very you can go through it. So there is some tutorials written by myself. It is there in my GitHub link. I'll share the later to you. But if you're working from scratch, I think Core First is more suitable for that. So any questions till now? Any difference? Any doubts on the layer wise? If you want, I can explain one more time.
Yeah, Amit, I have one quick question.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, this is Sai Kiran. Okay,
Yeah,
so
hi, Sai,
you
yeah.
mentioned, so you mentioned that all the third-party libraries or the NFRs, non-functional requirement related stuff would go into infrastructure, right? But,
True.
Yeah. In general, for an example, if we take logging as an example, so logging we might need across the layers. I might need it in the service layer. I might need it in the data layer. So I just wanted to understand: will the reference of infrastructure be part of all the layers wherever I need logging?
Not exactly, but mainly logging will be used in the UI, right? Mainly on the presentation layer. And the question what you're asking for that, if you want this logging in all the feature, and there is small drawback actually in the onion architecture. That's what it comes to the clean architecture. So where they implement a cross-cutting layer. So in where we can implement for all over all the project. But in onion architecture, for example, if you want to use a logging file, so logging file will be implemented in the infrastructure layer. And if you want to implement that logging file in your persistence layer, then it's not possible. Okay, so we can implement only on the infrastructure layer and the presentation layer, meaning API itself only. Hope Sai, you got the answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. In other words,
in case if you want to implement, okay, no, again it's like come to your project level, right? No, now we can say that no, I want some logging to my all layer. It should be in my data access layer also. It should be in service layer also. In that kind of scenario, so Uncle Bob had introduced about clean architecture. That is what the latest one. And the clean architecture will be used mainly on the complex kind of projects. So like this is what I'm showing, like this is Onion architecture. This is very good for a medium and a big project, but clean architecture, something like complex like ERP solutions, something in that way of all, we can implement the clean architecture level. But usually that logging and all doesn't you required in the that will be taken care. That can be taken care in this in my infrastructure layer itself only, but it can we can use of the for that one. I created kind of a exception handling. So global exception handling. Now, if you see this, my customer controller, so there is no try and catch. Okay, so this all logging. If you want to have any logging, what usually will happen? So like in case of database access problem of what I'll call into this, so that logging will happen directly in my exception middleware, and we are making use of that. So the problem what you're solving now for that one. I'll show that logging also how we can implement that. I will come to the next demo.
Sure. Thank you.
So this project is only for understanding what all the layers says that. So for this one, I had written a small article on that in code project yesterday. So based on presentation is UI, infrastructure is all the third party like JW token and what all the services, all the logging file and other things. And service layer is only for the business logic layer, and we can implement CQRS also. That I'll come to the later part. And persistence layer is a repository design pattern, and domain is the entities. This is the five main thing is required. Okay, and one small question of there is one loophole in this one actually. So okay, first before that, can anyone tell me what is the repository design pattern? In which layer integration is a third party should be handled? Rahul, this is in the infrastructure layer. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is a repository design pattern? Anyone? I already explained.
So all the CRUD operations related to a model will be kept in one single file. For an example, in your example, we have customer repository, right? So all the read or write operations will be kept in that, and then we would use that repository class in our services, and we would do the retrieval and update processes.
True. Thank you, Sai. This is what you are saying, right? So I already implemented like generic and also customer repository for based on the scenarios repository pattern. But in this project, this is only for your understanding purpose, I had done that. In this project, there is two repository design pattern. So one is a generic, this is what I have implemented, and one is already implemented by the DB context. Who is that DB context? Entity framework. When you're talking about entity framework core, they already implemented a repository design pattern. Okay, and they had implemented also unit of work. What is unit of work? Now, if you want to have add, update, and lot of 1, 2, 3 operations, and after that, so you want to commit or you want to roll back. So based on that one, so we use save changes, right? So that what you're writing the dot save changes, that is what the unit of work. You can see here context dot save changes. So this is what context I'm calling my DB context. DB context is nothing but entity framework context. So here save changes. This is my unit of work, and DB context is the entity. DB context is a repository design pattern. And here persistence, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about repository also. In my persistence layer, I'm talking about generic repository design pattern. So in this project, you can see the two repository design pattern here, which is not a good, right? So if you want to have a best practice and all, so you think that you had already had done, but internally there is two things. So this is not used at all. So the purpose of the persistence is not used in my application. Directly we can use as a the data access layer, or we can remove any one actually. you can use unit to manage the context as long as the representative. Yes, Rahul. Is it possible to decouple few layer and keep it in the different solution? I have not tried. Yes, Gokil, Karthik, right? Yeah, we can do that also based on. For that question, I was implementing this kind of scenario only. I was implementing. I was trying actually on the NuGet org about Onion API. Yes, here it is. For that question only, what we can do, same code I was trying to implement. So I think within next week of time, there is some issue in this NuGet actually what I upload this DLL. We can do that. So but I will give the solution. That I'll give the solution in next coming few days after that. As a ping federate for a single line. So what is part of okay, Sachin, I'm not sure about what is a ping federate. Can you is it based on a single sign-on? I'm not sure, Sachin, on that. I have not worked on that. Single sign-on mainly, as per my knowledge, I think we can implement in the infrastructure layer only. So like if you're using a Blazor application, in that purpose we can use it. But mostly I was using a JWT and OAuth. So I didn't came across of this ping federate. But I think I can look and I'll get back to you on that case. I'll try to figure it out in future. Okay, so this all the features. This is what the Onion architecture says that, which is when you're calling the API, the first presentation, the flow will be always in the top layer to the bottom, not from the center to the outside, from the outside to the center. This is what we can implement our application, the based. And we have 50 minutes more. As I told you, like one more question, I will ask you that. We have something we have to implement now. For business scenario, we have to implement CQRS, validation, authentication, Swagger, error handling, Unity framework, versioning, entity framework core. This all the application. How much time is required for us? Can anyone tell me? Unit of work is not part of a repository pattern, but we can implement on top of a repository design pattern actually. Okay, just I want to ask you questions to implement this. All the feature, all the essential, all the libraries. It might take at least a month or 2 weeks, based on this experience. So we can develop the application, right? So can anyone tell me how many of days is required for that? Any idea? 2 weeks of time, right? So it may be based on the experience. It may be 2 weeks of time or 3 weeks of time, or if you understand of this all the it may be a 1 week. So these all the features, it will be ready-made. I had done for ready-made actually. Okay, 1 week, and one JWT authentication also, and serial logger. So based on all the things. So within 5 to 10 minutes only we can implement this all this application based on I created in my in the marketplace. So what we can do is you can just download this Onion architecture project. So once you download that, it is available in the extension online, Onion. Yes, this is just to download in your Visual Studio. So this already, once you install, it will becomes like this way installed. Currently it is 1.2. and create an application. My system is slow. Yes. So here there is one like I had created one category called as API. So once you're done, you'll get an Onion architecture API here. Just click on this API architecture, and next, so based on what project name you can keep, like Onion architecture for MUG, and so create. So the application will be ready within a minute for you with all the features available here. And well organized. So in this, what I was showing the demo, where we have kept two repositories. No? So this has been removed actually, and kept some of the clean code, and implemented a CQRS also. See, the project will be ready on. My system is slow. Okay, yes. You can see, right? The project will be ready with you. And in this layer, this is what exactly we can start with working on that. Here, we will not able to find any data layer. So this persist layer itself is the application DB context. This application DB context only had written the entity framework here, DB context. And service layer, so I was talking about service layer, all the business logic to be implemented, right? And for this business logic only, I'm using a customer feature where CQRS pattern. So what is CQRS? Making a OLAP, OLTP, analytical process and transactional process. So we making separation of that, right? What Martin Ford has said, and where for CRUD operations make the separate and make a single responsibility for a calling method. For create, make a single command this one, and for delete separately, update separately, and for get and all. So usually what the queries will be for if the data is very huge, like if like lakhs of record, for don't mix the things, like making a separate for that. So for keeping the CQRS pattern. So that's where exactly I had implemented CQRS pattern. To implement CQRS pattern, so directly we can't implement CQRS. We have to use a mediator pattern. But mediator pattern also, instead of using that, we have to write the logic. But for that one, I'm using a library called as a mediator or extension .microsoft.dependency injection. So what it does is, it whatever the code you're going to write, that will be implemented in the service layer. And a few minutes back, I was telling that all the third party should be on the infrastructure layer. It should not be in the other layer. Yes, I was talking about, but to implement it based on the scenario. So like instead of writing the code yourself, like just instead of creating a class file and creating a mediator pattern and call that pattern. So this all based on that. Instead of writing that code here, I'm using that library. That's it. I'm making use of that. So that's the reason these services will be this library will comes in the service layer. So here, where exactly I'm going to call that application iApplication DB context. iApplication is nothing but my persistence layer. Here it is. So based on that, I'm going to call. So when this project is ready, what you have to do is just you can go here in your app.settings file, change the connection, like whatever it may be, SQL Server or Oracle, Postgre. And in the previous demo, what I said, right? So we can use provider, instead of SQL provider, make use of this project is mainly on SQL Server. In case of a SQL provider, you can switch to the Oracle or Postgre, and you can make a switch of that. And secondly, this all the automapper and this all the services, email also, like the logic had written in the email services. Just had written all this in case of any logic. If you want, we can use in services, or like if you want to make use of, you can implement in the infrastructure layer also. So anything is fine. But I took in the service layer because I want to write based on the business logic, like okay, in this condition only this email should go, or in this condition only email should go. So in that kind of scenario only I written the service layer. Now if you want, you can implement in the, we can remove and you can implement the infrastructure also. So that is up to you. So based on the project scenario also. So there is nothing right or wrong in that particular part. And this someone was asking about, can you explain again? Oh, you want me to explain of mediator, right? Okay, I'll come to that. I was okay. I'll finish off mediator first. Okay, so mediator is I can MS Paint. I'm not good in the Paint. Let me try to. Okay, so mediator is a middle actually. Now this is what the UI is coming to here, right? The UI or any like in UI from API, I'm calling this get here, get, and I'm calling this a post call. Sorry, post call. And what this mediator will do, so instead of calling different purpose, it making one centralized. It making everything in centralized mediator pattern, and from this one it is calling to the, it is switched back to which one you want. So like the get query, or if you want to make use of the command prompt CRUD operations, like where we can use command prompt insert to the database, or this is select to the database based on that. So this make us everything centralized, and based on this one I'm going to call, okay, you should go to the get, or you should go to the insert, or you should go to the update, whatever it may be. So in the create customer, I'm calling that, based on that I'm going to fetch what I want. Okay, add. So I'm going to add insert to my database. So in case of my update, actually I'm making separately, and usually why this also will be different. For update, ID is required. For create command, ID is not required, right? ID should be generated from the database and it should get fetched. But in the update actually is not required. So for update, ID should be passed, because based on ID only, where ID equals to this one, customer name should be changed. So for that one, ID is required, right? And for delete, nothing is required. Only customer details is not required. Only ID. Based on ID only, we can delete which transaction you want. So based on that only, we are implementing this one mediator R. This is a third party. Or else if you want to implement yourself only, it makes your code very more. So where I had came across this mediator or third party library, which make our code very simple and we can make use of that. That's the reason only I had implemented mediator design like a mediator or extension Microsoft dependent injection. So this just injecting this I request, and that's based on that only we can call, we can divert whichever you want. It can be implement for CQRS. I'd implement for CQRS currently. CQRS. So this was one of the interview questions. So what are the design pattern you used? So you can say this one. Okay, we have implemented CQRS based on the OLAP and OLAP and OLTP. And so in that, so we are keeping the mediated R For this one, we're using a third-party library. So based on that one, we can call. And in case like if you want to have subscribe and you have to make it notification, sending a notification. So certain scenarios. So we want in the middle place, subscribe, we had to subscribe one place, right? And we had to send to all, if you want to send to only one person. So based on that one also, mediator design pattern will be helpful for us. So you can, for that one, you can go through that in depth, what is an mediator are. So there's some examples in my Git actually, design patterns, you can make use of that, or else you can subscribe to some Quest Pond, so where Shiv sir had already explained very nicely about mediator design pattern. We can implement, we can understand based on that. If you want only the project, you can, project is available in my GitHub repository. Any questions? Okay, I was talking about service is over, and I was talking about we have only five minutes, almost we had done that, and we'll see. Yes, startup file. Okay, in the startup file, all the configuration to be done. So if your ASP.NET Core, if you're aware about ASP.NET Core, then it's well and good. So you had to write everything, AutoMapper configuration, and everything you had to write in the startup.cs file, right? If you're using like data scope, yeah, add scope. So based on this one, like if you are using a normal .NET framework, then instead of using IOC for registration, so you can use a unit of container, so framework. So based on that, but benefit of using this one ASP.NET Core, so it is not required, where we have to configure all the things in the my startup.cs file. But one more question, to make our code very simpler and abstraction, so not to mess up everything in my startup CS file, right? So what I did, I had created something kind of extension. I had created an extension method, and I'm going to call all this extension like add what is it? Add AutoMapper. So all AutoMapper configuration done in the my configuration services.container here. And for database DB entity framework core. So what we have to use, you have to use SQL Server, or you have to use Oracle, Postgre provider, whatever it may be, then come and change. So that's what I'm telling you. Whatever the third-party related stuffs, whatever the configuration related stuffs, don't mess up the code in the your UI layer. So UI layer is only you should call. Okay, what is the purpose? Abstraction. If you want to call, okay, just call and get the data. That's it. And what are the configuration layer? So instead of mess up everything in my presentation layer, I had written configuration separately, extension method and a configure service method. Now for Swagger, so for Swagger we had to write at least 10 lines of code or 15 lines of code, right? Why you want to mess up in the startup CS? So in the startup CS file, just I'm calling, okay, add Swagger open UI. That's it, done. So all the UI configuration will be done in the infrastructure layer, and it will be done in the here. And same case for container purpose. For logging file, right? So logging also will be written in the add serial logger. So serial logger will be which will be replaced will be override on logger factory only. So instead of writing in my configure, so directly we can again create a separately. We had extension method. One is for configure services. In configure, add factory, add serial logger, and you can ask where is the third-party DLL is there. It's available in my infrastructure layer. See, it's all available here. JWT it's a work in progress actually. So I'll be implementing by tomorrow or within 2 or 3 days. You can go through my GitHub link. For currently, you can go through that. But for implementing the project and also you can bookmark and you can make use of that. And also and for AutoMapper, all the mapping purpose also I had written in the infrastructure layer. So this is all the mapping. And middleware, this customer middleware also will be kept in here. So mainly for global exception handling. So for that purpose only, I'm writing in the middleware. So any question till now?
Amit, sometimes we might use view models, right?
Yeah, view model, yes.
So in which layer they will be?
Yes, Siddesh, we can use a view model. See, here I used view model. This view model I written in the infrastructure layer. Okay, so there is nothing hard and fast rule. Okay, you should implement here only. Based on the scenario, we can implement in the based on your project scenario. Like for example, if you want to implement in the infrastructure layer also, or else you can move this one view model in the service layer also. Currently, I'm using in the view model, but I think we can make. I had to refactor again some of the code actually. So then better we can move in the service layer. That will be more suitable for that, because all the transaction, the CQRS, it should be next to the CQRS only, right? Well, it should be calling to that only, it should be there, right? So that's the reason we can implement in the service layer. Hope you got the answer, right?
Yes.
And at last, okay. And at last, see, you can see my UI. It's very simple actually. So no mess up of the code in my this presentation layer. What is required? Okay, for create, just I'm going to call. It is working fine. Let me debug. I'll take a few 5 minutes more. So hope you don't mind. For create, okay, just one line of code. Okay, call that mediator R and register. Call the services. Get services of mediator. This only. And what you want here. So while sending, okay, the create command, pass that command to that. The work is done for you. So it will get inserted to a database. Second thing, get all. So what you have to do it. So nothing, just based on the get all queries. Pass this query command. That's done. Again, like delete and delete command. So this everything are written in the CQRS feature. Get all. See this get all customer queries. Yes, based on this, call this class file on my customer on my presentation layer, and the work will be done based on that. So the code will be very, very simple for you, and you can play around with that. So like in case for you, again for updating also, directly pass that update command and just send to that, and it will be taken care. So I had written one small conditions. Even this also can be pushed to the push. You can push in service layer. So what I told you. So in service layer, it's all the logical be handled there, right? So we can do. But actually, I had written here for the scenario like we should get 40. What is that error? I think 403, right, for bad request. So for that purpose only, I had written here. But again, we can fine tune based on your project. So it should be very clean and code for best practices where we implement, we can go ahead with that. And last few, this one. Yes, any questions? Yes, I missed out.
Yeah, one quick question is like, this Onion architecture is also being referred as a hexagonal architecture or port and adapter pattern.
Exactly.
I'm not pretty sure what is the difference between them.
Yes. I'll come to that. This one. I was supposed to show that flowchart itself only, but yeah, thanks for your same. And so initially, when you're talking about hexagonal architecture or port or adapter architecture or onion architecture or clean architecture, all the architecture is comes under the database centric architecture itself. Okay, and meaning sorry, wrong word. Domain centric architecture itself, meaning domain in the keeping the center, and building top of that. And when you talking about there might be slightly difference on that. Okay, there is no much difference. Now when you're talking about clean architecture, okay, for clean architecture, we had implemented all the logic in the service layer, and in the clean architecture you can say that application layer and interface also will be all the interface and everything will be in the application layer, and just you call what if you want to call persist, just call that, and based on that we can have in the future. I'll show if you want to, we can share some of the example also in my GitHub, or else we can have one more session on that clean architecture. Mainly because of more complex application we can use of that. And when you're talking about hexagonal also sorry. Okay, so hexagonal written in the it is also based on they had written services instead of this service infrastructure. There was something service called as a port or adapter, where we can based on that we can add and we can remove it. Okay, so that we can implement using the hexagonal. Hexagonal meaning, first whenever I heard about hexagonal, I thought it might be a 6 layer in it might be a 6 layer, but it's nothing like that way. You can follow this link actually. It's a nice link which I was following by Mark Seaman. So he said, okay, this all it's implemented on DDD, even in the data, but based on the some of the architecture also, big persons like who are in the people who work in the Microsoft and all. So when they had given the name of okay hexagonal architecture, the people start following with that. And when you say onion architecture, yeah, then people will say oh, onion architecture. Okay, so this all the layer is one and the same. So this is what he is going to say that. This link will be sharing to you in the in the PPT, so you can go through this PPT also. And this is a class diagram. So how it goes, the flow, how the flow is going actually. So I written this the first API. To the API, I'm going to services, or else based on that scenario, like we can directly call this persist layer also, and data and domain. So data had script actually in my real-time project. Okay, I was talking about the two things, right? So this project is available in the two places. One is in Microsoft Marketplace and one is in Nougat.org. In Nougat.org, it is not fully fledged, so I'm going to implement in a couple of few days. And so yeah, that's it. This all the course materials. This what the onion architecture is built of all the ingredients. Okay, so these are ingredients of design pattern. I took some of the design pattern from the mediator design. I understood what is mediator and what is a repository design and all the other stuffs. And this all the I was able to understand using Shiv sir's videos only. So you can and I have to say thanks to the Shiv sir and Sukesh for conducting this one, and Pradeep and Dheeraj also. And this understanding all the design pattern and implemented on top of this onion architecture. This like ingredients, like while cooking something, any not Maggie or something, any dish. So you record all the small ingredients, right? Taking all ingredients and making one dish. Same thing only. Like this all small. Okay, what is a entity framework core? Okay, what is the automapper and what is what is serial logger? So this all the features. Okay, see this all the features, exception handling, unit testing, integration testing, or versioning, Swagger. This all I took and created one project. So tomorrow, if I want to work on any freelancing or in any company, so I don't want to waste much of time. Okay, just I can download this project with my this one. This link is available in GitHub, and the project will be ready on with you. So currently JWT is a main thing. That's I'm working on that. Is just I'm going to implement within by tomorrow. A health check and fluent validation. So this all fully ready-made project will be available. So you can start downloading and we can go through that. So yeah, so I'm done with things. Thank you so much for. If you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions? I took some 10 minutes more, so it should be end on 6 o'clock.
No problem. I think it was a nice session, Amit, and like it was a very, very knowledgeable session. You like almost made me recollect all those initial days when I used to work on all those things actually. It was a very, very
Okay,
nice
thanks.
session. I can see like you had put a lot of effort and you even created those uh, extension by your own. Like definitely we should try it out. I really like want to thank you from the entire Mumbai user group for taking your time and sharing the skills you have.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. This is skills actually. So I want to say thanks to the Shiv sir. So where he has provided the training for us. Just I was going through the training and just we had implement all ingredients and kept it one place and we can implement based on that.
To Shiv sir, everybody is thankful actually.
Yeah. That's what.
Exactly.
Yes,
He's
yes.
like he's my like one of the greatest mentor.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can
even I
see
was going through his
Subheshwar because
videos from the day one actually when I started my career actually from the 10 years back. I was subscribed to the first one until now. I had never stopped it, so it's keep on going. And in future also, like if there is any lifetime of this one also, I'm ready to happy. I can subscribe for that. So
no, it's very good. Like I really know what Shiv sir is. He is the one who
yeah.
created me actually.
Yeah.
But definitely, Amit, we are very thankful to for all your effort. Like the best thing is like the amount of effort you have put is like extremely great. So we are very thankful, and we wish to see more of your sessions in the future. And I really recommend all of you to do one thing. Just do one thing. Simply like go and put some feedback in the Mumbai user group link. In the material section, you can see like 3 links. I believe most of you are already in the Telegram group of Mumbai user group. If you are not, what you can do is you can go and join it. You can see it in the just there is a material section. Can you see in the material section there is all the link. So Dheeraj, if you can share the link or in the chat window, it will be great. So you can join the Telegram group, and also I have shared the feedback link where you can go and put the feedback of the session. It will be very helpful. So thank you everyone for being part of this great webinar, and thank you Amit once again.
Yeah, thank you. I'll share. I'll share the links and materials on the MUG group, and so you can have access on that.
And also in the material section there is a link. For Sai, Dheeraj, can you just share it? All the links. Okay, thanks everyone. Always be connected and keep sharing your skills with the society. Everyone, bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Sukesh. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.